The sleek, crystalline form of the Azarian scout ship slipped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Sol system. Its silver hull caught the distant sunlight, creating a brief flash that even Earth's most advanced telescopes would mistake for a mere cosmic anomaly. Inside the vessel, First Scout Zixtal studied the holographic displays with his 4 eyes, each one focused on different data streams about this unexplored system. "Primitive," he muttered, his translator converting his clicking speech into standard Galactic Basic for the ship's logs. "Another Level 2 civilization. No FTL capability. Limited space presence. Internal combustion engines still in wide use." He noted these details with the bored efficiency of someone who had catalogued hundreds of such worlds before. The scout ship's AI compiled its initial report as it drifted closer to the third planet, carefully maintaining its stealth field. The world below was mostly blue, wrapped in white clouds, with green and brown landmasses that showed clear signs of technological development. Cities glowed in the planet's dark side. Power grids spread like webs across continents, and satellites orbited in messy clusters. Zixtal's antenna twitched with mild interest as the ship began intercepting the planet's broadcasts. "Begin standard cultural analysis," he commanded. "Focus on military capability, technological advancement, and social cohesion." These were the key factors that determined how the Empire would proceed with absorption of a new world. The AI complied, beginning to sort through the flood of radio waves, television broadcasts, and internet traffic the humans constantly beamed into space. Within minutes, however, it flagged an anomaly that made Zixtal lean forward in his control pod. "Explain," he ordered, seeing the unusual pattern in the data. "The species, self-designated as humans, has produced an unusually high number of simulated invasion scenarios," the AI reported. "Analyzing. Over 4,000 unique visual entertainment programs designated as movies and television shows depict conflict with extraterrestrial civilizations. An additional 8,900 interactive simulation programs designated as video games focus on similar scenarios." Zixtal's upper eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of puzzlement. "Show examples." The holographic displays filled with clips from various human media. Ships hovering over cities in Independence Day, tripods emerging in War of the Worlds, battles from Halo and Mass Effect. The scout watched as humans, again and again, fought against alien invaders in their fiction. Curious behavior for a species that has not made official contact with extraterrestrial life, he noted. Are they simply paranoid? Or, he left the thought unfinished. The AI continued its analysis, flagging another pattern. Many of their military organizations maintain official protocols for extraterrestrial contact scenarios. These protocols are regularly updated and rehearsed. Zixtal chittered in amusement. They prepare for something they're not even sure exists. Typical primitive paranoia. He had seen similar behavior on other worlds, though rarely to this extent. Additional analysis of military capabilities. Nuclear weapons present. Conventional military forces divided among multiple nation-states. Space capability limited to near-orbit operations and basic interplanetary probes. No energy shields detected. No antimatter weapons. No artificial gravity. The first scout entered his final observations into the report. The humans were technological infants playing at war games, imagining threats from the stars. Their strange fixation on alien invasion scenarios was merely an entertaining footnote, a cultural quirk that would be studied by imperial anthropologists after the conquest. "Send the report to Fleet Command," he ordered. "Recommend standard conquest protocol. This species will resist. They all do, but they'll fall in line like every other Level 2 civilization we've encountered." The scout ship's engines hummed as it prepared to return to hyperspace. Behind it, Earth continued its orbit around the sun, its inhabitants going about their daily lives, watching their invasion movies, playing their war games, and maintaining their carefully updated alien invasion protocols. Neither Zixtal nor his sophisticated AI considered a crucial question. Why would a species invest so much time preparing for something they weren't sure existed? And more importantly, what else might they be preparing for in secret? Ambassador Sarah Chen stood alone in the gleaming white teleportation chamber of the Azarian command ship, her simple black suit a stark contrast against the alien technology surrounding her. She showed no sign of awe or fear, despite being the first human to step foot on an alien vessel. The only items she carried were a small diplomatic briefcase and a tablet computer. High Commander Vexterra watched from behind a security field, all four of his eyes narrowed in confusion. In his 300 years of conducting first contact scenarios, he had never seen such a calm reaction from a primitive species. Usually there was fear, religious awe, or at least excitement. "You seem composed, Ambassador Chen," Vexterra said through his translator, his clicking speech converted to perfect English. Most species find their first encounter with the Empire more overwhelming. Sarah smiled politely. "We've been expecting you, or someone like you, for quite a while, actually." She opened her briefcase and removed a small data crystal. "I've been authorized to give you this information packet and deliver a message from Earth's United Defense Council." The High Commander's antenna twitched in amusement. These humans had already formed a defense council. How charmingly primitive. He gestured to one of his subordinates to accept the data crystal. "The message is simple," Sarah continued, her voice steady and professional. "We strongly advise against hostile action." A ripple of clicking laughter spread through the alien command center. Vexterra's facial scales shifted to show amusement, a gesture lost on the human ambassador who kept her polite smile firmly in place. "Ambassador," Vexterra said, his translator struggling to convey his condescending tone, "you must understand. Your species hasn't even achieved faster-than-light travel. Your most advanced weapons are crude nuclear devices. The Empire has conquered over 200 worlds, many far more advanced than Earth." Sarah nodded, as if he had made a point she was expecting. She raised her tablet and began reading. "The Battle of Thermopylae, 480 BCE. 300 Spartans held off a Persian army of over 100,000. The Winter War, 1939. Finland inflicted over 300,000 casualties on the invading Soviet Union, despite being vastly outnumbered. The Vietnamese resistance, lasting decades against 3 major world powers. You recite military history to us." Another wave of laughter swept the command center. "I'm establishing a pattern," Sarah replied calmly. "Humanity has a long documented history of defeating technologically superior forces through adaptation, preparation, and sheer determination. The data crystal I provided contains detailed accounts of every major military conflict in human history. We recommend your analysts study it carefully." Vexterra's amusement began to fade as he studied the human's unwavering expression. "Is this a threat, Ambassador?" "Not at all, High Commander. It's a professional courtesy. A warning, freely given." She checked her watch, a deliberate gesture that made several alien officers shift uncomfortably. "I should return now. Earth's response window for peaceful first contact expires in 3 hours." "Response window?" Vexterra's translator crackled with his sharp tone. "Yes, we've had protocols in place for this scenario for over 70 years. If I don't return with confirmation of peaceful intentions." She let the sentence hang in the air. The High Commander's scales now shifted to show irritation. "You are in no position to make demands, Ambassador." "I'm not making demands," Sarah replied, her smile never wavering. "I'm simply informing you of existing procedures. Now, shall we discuss peaceful diplomatic relations, or should I return to Earth and initiate our defensive protocols?" As the teleporter prepared to send Ambassador Chen back to Earth, Vexterra realized something disturbing. She hadn't asked a single question about their technology, their empire, or their intentions. It was as if humanity had already known exactly what they would encounter. But that was impossible, wasn't it? General Marcus Jong stood in the underground command center beneath the Rocky Mountains, watching as green confirmation lights lit up across the massive world map. Each light represented another nation activating their alien invasion protocols. It was remarkable how smoothly everything was going, considering that just 24 hours ago, these same nations had been rivals. "Sir, Russia has opened Site X-ray," reported Colonel Hayes from her station. "Their cold storage facilities are powering up now." Zhang nodded. Site X-ray was one of the worst-kept secrets of the Cold War. A massive bunker complex in Siberia that supposedly contained experimental weapons. Every intelligence agency on Earth knew about it, but no one had ever confirmed what was inside. Until now. China has activated the Terracotta Protocol. Another officer announced. Their quantum research labs are transitioning to military applications. On the main screen, a live feed showed the United Nations General Assembly. For the first time in history, every member state had voted unanimously on a resolution. The implementation of Case Omega, the global defense plan that had existed in various forms since 1947. "The Azarians are interpreting this as panic," reported Dr. Sarah Wilson, their chief alien psychology expert. She gestured to intercepted communications from the alien fleet. "They think we're scrambling to mount a desperate defense." General Zhang allowed himself a small smile. "Perfect. Let them think that." In orbit, commercial satellites were quietly changing position, their civilian transponders going dark as hidden military software activated. Deep beneath the Indian Ocean, a network of quantum sensors that officially didn't exist began tracking the movements of the alien fleet. "Brazilian underground facilities report ready," called out another officer. "Operation Sleeping Giant is live." Zhang remembered when he first learned about Operation Sleeping Giant as a young officer. Every major nation had similar programs, hidden in plain sight. The world's governments had spent decades appearing to compete with each other, while secretly preparing for this exact scenario. "Sir," Colonel Hayes interrupted his thoughts, "the President is ready for your briefing." Zhang turned to the secure video feed. The President, along with 30 other world leaders, waited in their respective secure locations. All of them had trained for this moment, though they'd hoped it would never come. "Ladies and gentlemen," Zhang began, "Case Omega is proceeding as planned. The Azarians have positioned their fleet exactly where our simulations predicted. They're following standard conquest protocols for what they classify as a Level 2 civilization. And our special preparations?" asked the German Chancellor. "All facilities are reporting green status," Zhang replied. "Area 51, Tunguska Base, the Sahara Complex, and all other sites are activating on schedule. The recovered technology is integrating with our defense systems exactly as designed." The British Prime Minister leaned forward. "And they suspect nothing?" "No, ma'am. Their arrogance is working in our favor. They believe they're seeing a primitive species in panic. They don't realize that every satellite we've launched since 1960 has carried hidden military hardware. Every space mission has been dual-purpose. Every major technological advancement has been guided by what we learned from previous visitors." The Chinese president spoke next. Civilian reaction. "Remarkably calm, sir," Zhang reported. "The public preparation programs we've run through entertainment media are paying off. People are following emergency protocols without panic. Even social media is relatively stable." "Then we proceed as planned," the U.S. president declared. The others nodded in agreement. "General Zhang, you have full authorization. Initiate Defense Plan Delta." Zhang turned back to his command center. Around the world, hidden bunkers were opening. Secret hangars built into mountains were powering up. Weapons that officially didn't exist were being prepared for battle. "Send the signal," he ordered. "All units, this is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill." Operation Lighthouse is now active. High above Earth, the Azarian fleet continued its deployment, completely unaware that they weren't facing a primitive civilization's desperate resistance. They were falling into a trap 75 years in the making. Fleet Commander Kazarol stood triumphantly on the bridge of his flagship as 10,000 Azarian warships emerged from hyperspace around Earth. His tactical display showed every major military installation on the planet marked for simultaneous strike. This was how the Empire had conquered 200 worlds, overwhelming force, applied with surgical precision. "All ships report ready," his executive officer announced. "Quantum shields at maximum power. No sign of any defensive response from the humans." "Begin the attack," Kazarol ordered. Standard conquest pattern. The first wave of Azarian ships dove into Earth's atmosphere, their silver hulls gleaming in the sunlight. They positioned themselves above military bases, government buildings, and power plants, all the vital infrastructure that would cripple human resistance. That's when everything went wrong. The first sign of trouble came from Squadron 6 over what humans called Area 51. As their weapons powered up, the desert floor beneath them suddenly split open. Something emerged from the hidden hangar, something that shouldn't exist on a Level 2 world. "Impossible," Squadron 6 commander screamed over the comm. "They have pulse cannons, but the technology it's wrong. It's modified somehow." The transmission cut off as beams of twisted light erupted from the facility, tearing through quantum shields as if they were paper. 3 Azarian ships vanished in balls of fire. Similar reports began flooding in from around the planet. Over Russia, Squadron 12 encountered what they thought were primitive interceptor aircraft, until those aircraft suddenly engaged cloaking devices and began firing weapons that ignored their shields completely. In the Indian Ocean, a hidden underwater base launched missiles that phase-shifted through solid matter, bypassing all known defense systems. The missiles carried warheads that created localized time distortions, trapping Azarian ships in temporal bubbles. Status report, Kazarol demanded as his tactical display filled with red alerts. "Sir, we're detecting energy signatures that match our own technology, but they're corrupted somehow. Modified. The humans have merged their primitive but robust engineering with advanced theoretical concepts. It's like they took our most sophisticated designs and made them brutal." Over China, a network of quantum disruptors activated, hidden in what appeared to be normal communications satellites. The disruptors created a web of energy that trapped and crushed Azarian ships like insects in a spider's web. In orbit, seemingly harmless space debris suddenly came alive, revealing themselves as mines that had been waiting dormantly for decades. They attached themselves to Azarian ships and began drilling through their hulls with nanomachines that evolved faster than the ship's repair systems could respond. 40% of first-wave vessels lost. The tactical officer reported, his scales pale with fear. "Their weapons, they're impossible. They're using principles we theorized, but never successfully weaponized. They took our most advanced concepts, and we made them work." Came a transmission from Earth. General Zheng's face appeared on their main screen. "We've had 75 years to study the technology you left behind in Roswell, to improve it, to combine it with human ingenuity. Did you really think all those UFO sightings were just imagination?" Kazarol watched in horror as more hidden facilities activated across Earth. Each one launched weapons that shouldn't exist, using technology that mixed advanced alien science with humanity's brutal efficiency. "Fall back," he ordered. "All ships, emergency retreat." But as his fleet tried to escape, they discovered another surprise. The humans hadn't just prepared to defend Earth. They had mined the entire approach vector with temporal traps and quantum snares. The invasion force was caught like fish in a net that had been waiting for decades to close. In the chaos of retreat, Kazarol realized their fatal mistake. They had assumed humanity's survival movies were entertainment. Instead, they had been watching a species rehearse for war. Captain Maya Rodriguez sat in her makeshift command center in the ruins of Manila, surrounded by screens showing battlefield data and a team of civilian hackers. The Azarians had retreated from their first disastrous assault, But now they were trying something new, targeted strikes against population centers. They hadn't expected humanity to turn their own cities into traps. "They're taking the bait in Singapore," reported Lai Wei, her chief hacker. The young programmer had been a video game developer just 3 days ago. Now he was leading cyber warfare against an alien empire. "Their ships are following the false evacuation signals." Maya nodded, watching the dots on her screen move exactly where they wanted them. Spring the trap. In Singapore, thousands of seemingly abandoned smartphones suddenly activated. Each one launched a specialized virus, developed decades ago after studying alien computing systems found in crashed UFOs. The Azarian ship's quantum computers, designed to resist traditional hacking attempts, had no defense against code that rewrote itself using principles of human chaos theory. "Their navigation systems are compromised," Lai Wei announced with a grin, "routing them into the kill zone now." The alien ships, their systems corrupted, flew straight into the path of hidden railguns that had been disguised as skyscraper support structures. The weapons fired projectiles at speeds that created local space-time distortions, another human innovation that combined primitive kinetic weapons with advanced alien physics. "Sir," called out another technician, "we're detecting their main fleet attempting to coordinate a new attack pattern." Maya smiled. They had expected this too. Launch Operation Ghost Echo. Across Earth, millions of civilian internet devices activated hidden protocols. Gaming consoles, smart fridges, even children's toys began broadcasting signals that created a planet-wide electronic warfare network. The Azarians found their communications drowning in a sea of noise generated by everyday human technology. "They're trying to adapt," Lai Wei reported. "Switching to quantum encryption." "Wait, what is this?" He leaned forward, studying his screen. "Captain, they're using some kind of new communication system we haven't seen before." "Good," Maya replied. "That means they're desperate. Activate the quantum entanglement interceptors." In orbit, hidden satellites that had been disguised as space junk for decades came to life. These devices, based on technology reverse-engineered from a crashed alien ship in Brazil in 1992, didn't just intercept the Azarian communications. They inserted false commands that seemed to come from their own high command. On her main screen, Maya watched as chaos spread through the alien fleet. Some ships received orders to retreat while others were told to advance. Squadron commanders received conflicting instructions. Their rigid military hierarchy, usually a strength, became a weakness as no one dared disobey what they thought were orders from above. "Ma'am," called out another technician, "the Chinese quantum hacking team reports success. They've gained access to the aliens' historical database." "Download everything," Maya ordered. "Every tactical manual, every battle plan, every standard protocol. If they've used it once, they'll try it again." She stood up and walked to the window, looking out at Manila's skyline. Most civilians saw a partially evacuated city, but her trained eye noted the traps hidden in plain sight. The office buildings that could transform into anti-aircraft platforms, the subway tunnels rigged with gravity weapons, the automated defense systems disguised as air conditioning units. "They still don't understand," she said quietly. "They think they're fighting a war against Earth's militaries. But they're fighting every human being on the planet. Every gamer who ever played an alien invasion scenario. Every programmer who wondered, what if? Every sci-fi fan who imagined how to fight back." Lai Wei looked up from his station. "New contact, Captain. Large fleet formation trying to establish a blockade in low Earth orbit." Maya turned back to her command station, her expression determined. "Then let's show them why you should never try to siege a species that grew up playing strategy games." The next phase of humanity's defense was about to begin, and the Azarians were about to learn another painful lesson about underestimating Earth. Dr. Elena Petrov walked through the massive underground facility beneath the Ural Mountains, her footsteps echoing off walls that had been built in secret during the height of the Cold War. For decades, the world thought Russia and America were competing in a nuclear arms race. In reality, they had been quietly cooperating, preparing for a much bigger threat. "The final seals are opening now," reported her assistant, Dr. Chen, as they approached the main vault. Some of these containers haven't been accessed since 1947. Huge steel doors slowly swung open, revealing rows upon rows of alien technology. Each piece had been carefully collected, studied, and improved upon over the last 75 years. Crashed ships from Roswell, recovered artifacts from Tunguska, debris from dozens of other incidents that had never made the news, all gathered here and in similar facilities around the world. "Begin the integration sequence," Elena ordered. Above them, through kilometers of rock, the sounds of battle could be faintly heard as Earth's forces engaged the Azarian fleet. Teams of scientists and engineers moved with practiced efficiency, removing protective covers from various devices. Some looked like ordinary human technology: jets, tanks, satellites. But as power flowed into them, they transformed, revealing their true nature. "Ma'am," called out a technician, "the American team reports their facilities at Area 51 are fully activated. The German bunker under the Black Forest is online. The Chinese installation in the Gobi Desert is powering up." Elena nodded, watching as the first wave of hybrid weapons came online. A row of what appeared to be normal fighter jets activated, their surfaces shifting to reveal alien alloys beneath human camouflage. Tanks that could phase through solid matter rolled out of their storage bays. Satellites that could manipulate gravity itself powered up in their underground launchers. 75 years of preparation," she said quietly. "Every UFO crash, every mysterious signal, every unexplained phenomenon. We learned from them all. We didn't just copy their technology. We improved it." On her tablet, she watched live feeds from around the world as humanity's hidden arsenal was revealed. In the Sahara, enormous hangar doors opened in the desert floor, releasing aircraft that combined human ingenuity with alien science. Under the Pacific Ocean, submarines equipped with reversed-engineered quantum drives emerged from decades of hiding. "Dr. Petrov," called out Dr. Chen, "the Azarians are detecting our power signatures. They're realizing." "Yes," Elena smiled. "They're finally understanding what they're really fighting." On her screen, she could see the alien fleet's reaction. Their neat formations broke apart as they detected energy signatures that should have been impossible for a primitive world to produce. Their scans showed weapons that used their own advanced principles in ways they had never imagined. "Launch the first wave of enhanced units," she ordered. "Show them what happens when human persistence meets alien technology." Across the facility, launch bays opened. Each contained weapons and vehicles that represented decades of human innovation combined with alien science. Where the Azarians had focused on elegance and efficiency, humans had added redundancy and raw power. Where alien design sought perfection, human engineering demanded reliability under the worst conditions. "They thought we were primitive because we didn't have faster-than-light travel," Elena said as she watched the first wave of hybrid weapons launch. "They never considered that we chose to focus our efforts elsewhere. Every alien secret we uncovered, every piece of technology we recovered, we didn't use it to reach the stars. We used it to prepare for this moment." In orbit, the Azarian fleet was about to discover just how thoroughly humanity had prepared for this war, and just how dangerous Earth's hidden arsenal had become. Lieutenant James Cooper sat in the cockpit of what appeared to be a normal F-35 fighter jet, but looks were deceiving. His aircraft, like everything else in Earth's hidden arsenal, was a hybrid of human and alien technology. As he led his squadron out of the underground base in Nevada, he couldn't help but smile at the confusion he saw in the alien fleet above. "Thunder Squadron, form up," he ordered, watching as 11 other fighters joined him. Their outer shells still looked like regular aircraft, but beneath the surface, they were anything but normal. "Remember your training. Everything we've practiced for is happening now." The Azarian fleet hung in low orbit, their formation perfect and rigid. Exactly what the humans had expected from their studies of alien tactical doctrine. They had learned everything about how the Azarians fought from decades of studying crashed ships and intercepted communications. Their launching interceptors, reported his co-pilot, itself a blend of human and alien code. Standard attack pattern Delta 7. Just like in the simulations, James replied. Thunder Squadron, initiate Protocol Trojan. As one, the 12 fighters activated their true forms. Their outer shells shifted, revealing sleek alien alloys underneath. But unlike pure Azarian technology, these ships had been modified by decades of human engineering. Where alien design focused on elegance, humans had added brutally efficient improvements. The Azarian interceptors faltered in their approach, their sensors confused by ships that appeared to be using their own technology, but in completely unfamiliar ways. They're trying to lock onto us with quantum targeting, his AI reported. Perfect. Activate the chaff. Clouds of what looked like ordinary metallic chaff burst from the Earth fighters. But each tiny piece contained microscopic quantum computers, broadcasting false signals that turned the space around them into a maze of sensor ghosts. It was a human adaptation of alien stealth technology, trading elegance for overwhelming effectiveness. First wave of aliens is completely confused, reported Thunder 3, the joy evident in her voice. Their targeting systems can't handle this many false signals. James pushed his fighter into a maneuver that should have been impossible for human technology. The hybrid drive system combined alien anti-gravity with good old-fashioned human thrust, creating movement patterns that the Azarian combat computers couldn't predict. All units, weapons free, he ordered. Show them what happens when human combat doctrine meets alien tech. The Earth fighters opened fire with weapons that represented 75 years of reverse engineering. Rail guns that fired quantum-phased bullets, energy beams that carried computer viruses in their wavelengths, missiles that could think and adapt like living things. In orbit, the main Azarian fleet watched in horror as their interceptors were torn apart by weapons that seemed to break the laws of physics. Their rigid tactical doctrine had no answers for an enemy that fought with such controlled chaos. They're pulling back to regroup, James observed, just like we planned. Thunder Squadron, initiate Phase 2. His fighter led the charge upward, past the dying interceptors, straight toward the main fleet. As they climbed, more squadrons emerged from hidden bases around the world. Chinese fighters rose from the Gobi Desert. Russian aircraft launched from the Siberian tundra. Brazilian squadrons erupted from the Amazon. Look at them trying to adapt their formation, James said to his eye. They still don't get it, do they? They think this is just about better technology. Humans are more creative in combat. The AI agreed. It had been programmed to understand human military history. The Azarians rely on perfect execution of standard tactics. Humanity writes new tactics every time they fight. As his squadron approached the main alien fleet, James thought about all the war games he had played as a kid, all the combat simulations he had run as a pilot, all the science fiction scenarios he had imagined. Now it was time to put them into practice. Thunder Squadron, he commanded. Show them why you never pick a fight with a species that turned warfare into an art form. Supreme Commander Vixthar of the Azarian Empire stood in his command center on the Imperial capital world, watching in disbelief as reports flooded in from across the galaxy. The impossible was happening. His mighty empire was beginning to crack. Another uprising on Centauri Prime, reported his aide, scales pale with stress. They're using human tactics. The rebels somehow got hold of our own weapons and modified them, just like Earth did. On the massive display screen, red warning lights spread across the map of Azarian space like a disease. 200 conquered worlds, watching Earth's resistance, were learning that their overlords weren't invincible after all. The humans, Vixthar hissed. They're sharing their weapon designs with our slave worlds. But how? We have blockades everywhere. His answer came in the form of a transmission breaking through their supposedly unbreakable quantum communications network. The face of General Zhang appeared on every screen in the command center. Wondering how we did it, the human asked, looking far too calm for someone from a primitive world. We didn't need to break through your blockades. We'd already hidden our technology on your conquered worlds years ago, in their entertainment systems, in their computer games, in their communication devices. All we had to do was send the activation signal. Viksthar's four eyes widened in horror as he understood. The Empire had allowed entertainment and civilian technology to flow freely between worlds, considering them harmless. They never imagined these simple devices could contain hidden military secrets. Status report from the Earth front. Another aide called out. Our main fleet is in full retreat. Human hybrid technology has spread to their orbital defenses. They're pushing our forces back across the entire solar system. On another screen, footage showed human ships, bizarre combinations of Earth engineering and stolen alien technology, pursuing the once mighty Imperial fleet. Where Azarian ships were elegant and precise, human vessels looked like aggressive predators, built for war. Sir, his chief intelligence officer interrupted, we're detecting similar hybrid weapons appearing on every world we've conquered. The humans, they'd been preparing this for decades. Every piece of Earth media we allowed to spread through our empire carried hidden technical data. Vikshtar watched as more reports came in. On Proxima II, rebels were using modified mining equipment that transformed into battle mechs. On Centauri Beta, resistance fighters had turned civilian transport ships into stealth fighters using plans hidden in what they thought were simple entertainment files. The humans didn't just prepare to defend Earth, he realized aloud. They prepared to free our entire empire. A new transmission cut through their communications. This time, it was Ambassador Chen, the human who had given them their only warning. We study your empire's history, she said calmly. You always win through overwhelming force and superior technology. So we didn't just prepare to resist. We prepared to turn your own technological advantage against you. Every world you conquered became a hidden arsenal, just waiting for the right moment. Vikshtar sank into his command chair as more red lights appeared on his display. 2 centuries of imperial conquest were unraveling in days because they had underestimated one simple truth. Humans didn't just prepare for war. They prepared to win at any cost. Sir, his aide asked nervously, what are your orders? But the Supreme Commander had no answers. How do you fight an enemy that spent decades hiding weapons in children's toys and computer games? How do you stop an uprising that spans 200 worlds, all armed with your own technology turned against you? The mighty Azarian Empire was learning a harsh lesson. Never underestimate a species that treats war games as a hobby. 1 year after the failed invasion of Earth, Ambassador Sarah Chen stood at the podium in the newly established Galactic Council chamber. The massive room, built in orbit above Earth, contained representatives from over 200 formerly enslaved worlds. Where once the Azarian Empire had ruled through force, now a new order was taking shape. The transition has been challenging. Sarah addressed the assembly, her voice calm and assured just as it had been when she delivered Earth's only warning to the Empire. But humanity is committed to helping every world rebuild and develop their own path forward. In the chamber's viewing window behind her, Earth could be seen slowly rotating below. The planet looked different now, with orbital defense platforms clearly visible and ships of hybrid human-alien design patrolling space. No more hiding, no more secrets. Some have asked why Earth chose to share its hybrid technology so freely, she continued. The answer is simple. We remember what it was like to be the underdog. We spent decades preparing not just to defend ourselves, but to ensure no species would ever face imperial conquest again. The alien representatives murmured in agreement. Many of them now wore medals featuring Earth's new symbol for the liberation, a simple chess pawn overthrowing a king. The former empire's technology has been fully integrated into Earth's defense network, reported General Zhang, standing at a secondary podium. But more importantly, we've helped every liberated world develop their own unique hybrid technologies. Each civilization is adding their own innovations to the foundation we built. On massive screens around the chamber, images showed the changes spreading across the galaxy. Former Imperial warships were being rebuilt using human engineering principles. Alien weapons were being modified with Earth's practical improvements. But most importantly, every world was developing its own style, their own approach to the technology they now shared. "We've established the Galactic Defense Academy on Earth," Sarah announced. "Representatives from every world are welcome to train there, to learn not just about technology, but about humanity's most important lesson: the value of preparation and adaptation." The screens showed the academy, built in the Rocky Mountains. There, aliens of all species learned Earth's unique approach to warfare and technology. They studied human history, played strategy games, and learned why Earth had been so ready for the Empire's attack. "But our greatest achievement," Sarah continued, "isn't military. It's the establishment of the free technology exchange. Every world now shares their innovations openly. The Empire hoarded knowledge. We're giving it away." In the audience, several former Imperial scientists nodded. They had discovered that working with humans led to bizarre but incredibly effective innovations. Human creativity combined with alien precision was proving to be an unstoppable force for advancement. 1 year ago, the Empire thought they were targeting a primitive world, Sarah concluded. They didn't realize they were attacking a species that had spent generations preparing not just for war, but for what would come after. "We didn't just plan to survive. We planned to build something better." As she finished speaking, a final image appeared on the screens. Children from Earth playing with alien children from liberated worlds, all of them using toys that contained simplified versions of hybrid technology. The next generation would grow up knowing they were part of something bigger than just one world or species. "The Empire gave us one warning when they first arrived," Sarah said softly. "We gave them one warning in return. They chose not to listen. But now the galaxy has a second chance, and humanity will make sure that no empire ever threatens our collective freedom again." The chamber erupted in applause as Earth's new role in the galaxy was cemented. Not as conquerors like the Empire, but as guardians and teachers, showing other worlds that the best defense isn't just technology. It's the willingness to imagine, prepare, and work together.